Huh. All right. All right. Here I am. What's the date today? It is. Doesn't even say. Was it April 29th today or something? 30th? I don't know. It's not a good day. Sadly to say and admit it, it's not a good day. It's kind of funny watching this young cat and dog chasing around here, though. They're both the same size, so if you hear that noise, that's what's going on in the background. But I'm going to share some emails. I'm definitely going to share some emails. But today in Canada, Stan, capital K, there's a man that was installed, not voted in. There's absolutely no way. But he's been installed. And our country, as most of the world knows, has been spiraling in a downhill direction for quite some time. But now it's there was an election yesterday. I voted before I left, but there's an election, allegedly an election yesterday. And this man who literally no Canadian knew previously and was actually the financial advisor, etc., CEO of the Bank of Britain, employed by England. He's got 3 passports and his family lives in New York. And all of a sudden, our past little dictator stepped down and they installed him without one Canadian voting to put him in place. And now all of a sudden he swept across Canada and won the election. And who this man is he's actually the godfather of the children of the second in command, who was the second in command, Christopher Freeland, who is actually the direct DNA lineage of Nazis in Germany. You can look it up. And she is also the one who implemented freezing the bank accounts of peaceful Canadians and annihilating them financially if they supported peaceful protest. She's the one. And anyways, he is her children's godfather, okay? And he was also the #1 advisor for Trudeau. So basically it's like Satan's kid stepped down and Satan came in to grab the wheel. That's what's happened up here. It went from really, really bad to now really, really worse. It's a real shitty day. Anyway, if any of you do take note of, just to give you a heads up, if you don't quite understand what I'm saying, if any of you watch, how did the cat do that? He just turned up the volume on the TV. I'll turn that off in a second. But if any of you watch globally what's going on, if you see the state of England right now, Britain, people are getting arrested for making Facebook posts in that country. All of their multi-millionaire elites have been steadily fleeing England. And whatever happens to Britain, England, whichever one you want to call it, I don't give a shit. I'm not overly concerned. The rest of the Commonwealth countries follow suit and follow. You picking up what I'm putting down? So whatever is happening in Britain today is going to happen at the exact same level in Canada. We're just a little bit behind. So as Britain spirals, we follow. Right? So if you're familiar with what's going on in Britain right now, that's what's coming. Well, it's been coming for a while, but now it's just a guarantee. Now we're really gonna go the distance, which is right down to the frickin' gutter. It's very frustrating, especially when you're a fighter, right? Like, if I could never share the true thoughts that are coming to my head right now, they'd come and get me, but anyway. Now what am I gonna do? I don't know. I have some big, serious decisions to contemplate. Obviously, the majority of you know where I would end up. And it's down here somewhere. So, because if there's anybody who's going to be put behind bars in that country in the next coming years, I'll guarantee it's going to be me. I'll be one of the first, and that's just reading clearly the fine bold, not the fine print, the bold letters. It's just reading the story and how it works and what happens to people like me and others who don't take shit. If you don't take shit, you're going to go behind bars in a country like Canada, capital K. Shitty deal. It's a very rough day. But anyway, I'm going to turn off that TV, find the changer here somewhere, turn it off, and I'm going to hear from many free, brave people via speech today that have come here to talk freely and bravely. I'm going to hear from them, then I'm going to pack my stuff and head to the airport. All right. All right, so here we go. I don't know what this is about, but it's a long one and it's recent. I'm going in. I'm back in Alabama in my buddy's hunting camp. Title is, It's Jack and the Nice Female Sabe from South Carolina. Wow, update and crazy video. All right. Hello, Steve. Hope you and Sarah are well as the pets and all the roundtable students and information bringers. Excuse me. Well, I'll start off and say I'm not doing so well now. I had planned on going back to the camp area solo to meet the friendly female forest sabe and her nice hooters, lol. All right, come on, what kind of dog shit email is this if you're going to start talking like that? I heard after my encounter someone else game hunting had reported into the news about a sighting also in Newberry, and he was possibly hunting the one he saw, and it's my hope to only want to get pictures. After the bigger, not-so-nice male visited me in the window, the pictures sent in on my last email, I started having symptoms of radiation poisoning, or possibly in coming down with MS. I feel like shit, and I gave zero trust in any medication treatment or the half-assed so-called care of you getting better by them either. So I'm going at it on my own and will do my best. Self-treating. Since these two encounters, I've been having a serious amount of odd happenings and shit luck and pictures and video to back me up now. So I get a security camera system, as anyone would, having the 8-foot male peering into my house and a red eye weaving back and forth through a 3-inch cracked curtain. And I see it stop and blink before it leaves. I try to keep the curtains shut now, but I have cats and they love looking out at the other wildlife here and constantly open them as they wish, night and day. Night 1 of security cameras. I set them attempting to cover entry point as best I can to my 3 acres. I find out I have a blind spot to my deep jungle area, as inside we hear a large guttural growl and limbs cracking and the sound of something drinking water. Upon later finding the water source was a tire 30 yards away, by the way. Anyway, me and Girl is her nickname, are completely shitting ourselves inside as the microphone on opposite turned camera with infrared is picking up this pissed off large animal right outside, assuming the large, not so friendly male has made my cameras and is not very happy at all. It is having a tantrum right outside of my mobile home behind the camera. We're next door to my very secure feeling old home house. We're doing some work to it and moved into this not so safe tornado trap temporarily, and I'm sitting next to a window 40 feet from the camera. I'm shaking like a leaf each time this thing growls, roars, and we can hear each deep breath it takes, and I shake even harder. I'm basically sitting on my ready 30-06, and most any other thing, most people would rush out the door and open up. Oh, hell no. And I feel not one bit of comfort or like it will do us any good if it comes through the wall. It is sending me basic death threats to the point I can't even muster getting off the couch, feeling like I'm already going to go into a fetal position in my own structure, and really getting every man for himself type feeling. We hear sirens coming in the distance, getting louder. That only intensified, freaking out. I'm trying to find reason and work this out, as I'm hoping not to meet this pissed off big guy. I start talking aloud to him and I say, "Are you okay? Can we help? Can we help you? I'm friendly. I'm not going to call anyone on you. You're safe here and can use this place to hide." Girl wants nothing to do with it, and is asking, "What the F are you doing?" I'm not sure what's going on with the timing of the sirens and the other chaos going on in their microphone outside. The growling and grunting has become less loud. It was so loud it damaged all the microphones. very soon afterwards, and they crackle now. And the one camera completely failed. Done. I asked him to grunt if yes. Can I help you? I'm starting to think he used this as a cut-through, like the deer. This won't leave me alone. It's on my lap, in case you're wondering why I'm moving. Hey? Huh? Won't leave me alone. Okay, beat it. I asked him to grunt if yes. Can I help you? I'm starting to think he used this as a cut-through, like the deer and plethora of other wildlife. Coons, red fox, coyotes, black fox, rabbits, possums, you name it. It comes through as I've seen now. It doesn't answer. Girl had bought a bag of apples for me to take for my solo camping trip and was not in agreement of me going on any level. I'm like, maybe I can take some apples to him and try and see if it's hurt or what's going on. She's like, you're effing insane. I try to assure her if they wanted to hurt us, it would have been done. It would have been done so. They've been on site here for months, if not longer, especially since the female encounter. They want to communicate, and I still will attempt it now, with even more contempt with those telling me don't do it. I say I'm coming out with some apples, and I have a gun. I'm not going to use it if you don't try to hurt me. I'm friend. Girl is freaking out. Don't go out there. I've been thinking this over for 30 minutes at least, still shaking, having something intelligent and unknown interventions directly growling. So I think you meant intermittent directly growling at you doesn't pass. I still shimmer when going outside at dark now, so I go outside shaking like a leaf so bad I'm getting weak. I came to the corner of the trailer and peered around slowly. I have apples. I see nothing, but I can hear breathing from the heavily wooded area in the non-can covered area. I throw the apples about where I think the sounds came from and further away. And I say, can I help you? If you are a friend, come to the door. I can take you back to Newberry if you need, in the back of my truck. I'll help you any way I can. I'm thinking it may have caused the sirens. Who knows? I'm freaked out still, and it goes quiet. I come back in. There's no going back to sleep on any level. And that was a new me moment in my 50 years to do the opposite, and now even more so. You say it, Steve. Live each day as if it's your last. Just to gain the knowledge and truth to me, essentially now, feeling ill and having hot spots coming up on me like I'm getting microwaves pointed at me, and feel also fatigued. I can barely work now. Thank goodness I have a good man for a boss and tell him everything and show him my videos of all the weird shit going on as of recent. The apples are gone the next daybreak. Steve, I want to say these forest people are way deeper as far as portals and the lights, that are being seen. That is over the target, and I have footage now of a shapeshifter taking place and turning into a ball of light, and I believe my redirected cam is on a portal now. There is one where the This is where the one came from that threw the tantrum, and where it and many other things go and come freely. And there was mention on your channel by maybe a First Nations elder of watch the trees. I think this is what I remembered, and I've been on it. That is the key. They are watchers that are shape-shifting stationary. I'll try to go in order of shift. Bear, owl, cat, and one I call gremlin. There's one of these in all 4 cameras, and I have proof. I hate telling people, get the eye roll, and I say I have pics. Even then, people have issues of believing me, and I have no reason to look or sound like a lunatic. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I didn't understand the camera system and lost the growling, drinking, and breathing as it has overwritten those files. I didn't know how to back it up and use my phone to record. I have full video of the animal shifting and turning into a light and missing a strange, haunting whistling sound. I think you might have meant making a strange, haunting whistling sound as it flew along the ground. The eye lit up. and left the body behind, and the eye trails light like plasma behind it all the way off the camera. I'm planning and loading it, and the full 30 minutes of the WoW video I'm sending you now. It's about a minute, and has never before seen video. This WoW video happened just in the last week, and has put some of my puzzle together on how Sabe can travel and follow you home among other beings. The bush on this video had been bombarded by orbs for weeks. There is a triangle of 3 points that are electrically charged. Apple tree and old magnolia tree and this bush in the video. The foreground, in the side I took off half the screen, the orb's way of travel, is the superhighway. And these orbs are launching from the bush into a fourth new electrical area that appeared for 30 minutes. A portal over the roof of my shop. The lit up area to the left foreground of the bush. There are many things going on in the entire screen view. Another video I will show later once everyone can get a grasp of this. There is something big about to happen in the world, and I hope it's good and I get to see it. And my friendly Sabe girl before I leave it. I hope this helps others gather knowledge from the round table of truth, my brother. Thank you, Steve, for all you do. This one is for you. Steve only. All right, so all I got is a screenshot with a raccoon in front of it. Just so you know. And no video attachment. You asked me how to do the video. Listen, one thing you can do that'll make sure it goes smoothly is you can either load it up to YouTube or load it up to Dropbox and send it to me that way. And if you got a problem, figure that out. Just get somebody. It's easier than shit if you're a little challenged with technology like I have been in the past. Most of us are. Get somebody to show you how to load it to Dropbox, then click on the link and send it to me. All right? And then we can look at it. But there's no video here, you guys, just so you know. There's a handful of typos in there, but I made it as smooth as I could. And then the opening sentence got me my back up a little bit, but not too many people comment saying the nice boobies on a Sasquatch. That usually is a red flag, but it sounds like you got some shit going on, my man. Send the video, all right? Send it in. We'll check it out. And keep us posted. There's an email. Bigfoot west of San Antonio. Oh, a follow-up email. Steve also forgot to mention my daughter and her friend were about 6 or 7. Would have been about 13 years ago. We lived at San Geronimo Air Park here in San Antonio, across from Government Canyon State Park. My daughter and her friend came running in the back door and said there was a tall, hairy man squatting down in the field behind the house watching us, and when we noticed it, we stared at each other for a few seconds, and he stood up and took off running very fast. She and her friend said he was very tall. They were very scared, and her friend asked his mother if they could go home now. LOL. They're in their 20s now in college, and we still talk about that night. Okay, thanks, Steve Troy. Okay, man, thanks for the follow-up. Appreciate it. Cat, what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing, you little shit? He's ripping around here. Hey? It's funny how they just want attention, right? And then I guess if you give it to them, and then they like it, then they want more. What's going on there? Do you see yourself? Little terror. This young cat. He's just ripping around here like a psycho and climbs your leg and stuff. Hey? All right, you gotta beat it. Beat it. Go find a mouse or something. Turns around, swats at me. Excuse me. Who's next? Ooh, it's a long one. This might be the last one for today because I gotta make sure I get out of here on time to my flight, and I so apologize to anyone who had hopes of me meeting up with them while I'm here, and it's just got squashed. I made clear why yesterday, but I'll be back. Sooner than later, I'll be back. Creepy close encounter around midnight. Steve, my dad started me on wilderness camping at age 9, although my older brother, Tim, And I hiked 2 weeks on the entire John Muir Trail when I was 13. Hiked every other Yosemite trail north of the valley the next year. Hiked the Emigrant Wilderness area the next year, and hiked in Banff National Park near Lake Louise in Alberta. We never had any strange encounters that we could explain. We slept without tents, just a tarp. I hear noises of deer and even bear checking out our camp at night, but wild animals are timid and run off just by you making noise like coughing and turning over. Certainly nothing got close enough to sniff us. It wasn't until I was 50 years old, camping with my 15-year-old son, that I would experience something I couldn't explain. In July of 2006, my son and I went camping in California's Stanislaus National Forest in the Emigrant Wilderness section. The entrance was close to Pine Crest and Strawberry. It was also the original way that my brother Tim and I entered the park back in the day. Our goal the first day was to get to Bear Lake, then head towards Gem Lake, and then towards Emigrant Lake. It was a moderate 8-mile hike to Bear Lake with a climb of just over 1,000 feet. We got a late start since we arrived at the trailhead around 1 p.m. after coming from the Bay Area. Just before 4 p.m., one of those Sierra thunderstorms hit just as we reached our campsite. Sometimes those storms can come with a sudden drop in temperature. My son was starting to get hypothermia symptoms, so I made some hot chocolate and had him dry off and crawl into his sleeping bag in the tent, which I covered with a hypothermia survival bag. It's a good idea to carry one since they weigh less than a pound and will trap your body heat, even in blizzard conditions. Bear Lake is at 7,700 feet elevation. You never know what kind of weather will hit up there. The rain quickly passed. My son felt better, so we had soup for dinner and went to bed. The next day we fished and hiked around the lake. My son caught a trout. We cooked it for dinner. And while we're eating dinner, we were observing the sheer face of the granite cliff face next to the lake. My son mentioned that there were many caves in that granite rock formation. It rose about 1,200 feet above the lake on its west side, the side we were camped on. Not being a Bigfoot believer, I decided to be funny. I stood up on the flat rock where we were eating, next to our tent, and I did a Tarzan yell while beating my chest. Then I announced that any Bigfoot living up there were welcome to come down for dinner. No one else was at the lake, or I probably wouldn't have acted so silly. My son said, didn't think that was a good idea. It was dusk, so I kindled up the fire and we went inside the tent to sleep. That evening around midnight, something woke me up. I stayed quiet and still while listening. Hey! Quit it! Reba! Hey! Quit it! Come here! You little savage. Go play with the cat. I could hear someone walking, but I knew no one else was at this lake. The campfire was barely going, but it was still producing light. Whoever it was kept slowly circling our tent, maybe 10 to 15 yards away, but it never came in between the campfire and our tent, or I would have seen a shadow. Whatever it was very large, but a bit timid about approaching. I stayed awake and listened for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then it made a bold move, quickly approaching the side of the tent I was on and stopped. I got the axe ready, figuring this person was up to no good. Then what shocked me was a finger or a stick was being pushed into the side of the tent about 2 feet off the ground, a good foot to 18 inches into our tent. Ooh. That's kapow time in my country. Well, meaning, I don't mean countries in Canada, I mean countries in the forest where grizzlies are and shit. That's kapow time. It was a 1/2 inch in diameter, pointy and thin. Then it would pull back and try another spot again, probing. About 1 foot or 1.5 feet, like it was prodding to see what was there. Bears don't have index fingers or the means to carry a stick. Deer horns are not that straight or deep, and deer tend to brush from side to side. Besides, once one prong went 18 inches in, you'd definitely see a second horn or its nose. This was straight ahead and deliberate, and no second horn. Then it leaned down near the ground and breathed in and out very loudly. Ugh. I haven't heard breath like that since I rode horses in full gallop, but this was slow and deliberate, not labored. Its lungs were huge. A 10-second inhale, then a 2-second break, then a 5-second burst of exhale, as if it was trying to get our scent. But what was it? That was no human. It was huge like a grizzly, but I already ruled out a bear. Our bears don't have index fingers. This is all happening on my son's side of the tent. He was fast asleep. I made a decision that whatever it was not going to give up. By now, it was exploring us for almost an hour. Oh my God. It already showed more courage than any animal I'd ever encountered in the woods, so my protective instincts kicked in. I was getting angry. I also knew if whatever it was just stepped on us, we were gone for good. If I waited too long, I was sure we would both be injured or killed. I decided I needed a plan of surprise attack. I covered my son's mouth and woke him. I used signals to point at the heavy breathing. He heard it too, and his eyes became wide, since it was literally a foot from his head. I handed him the axe. I had bear spray. We quietly and slowly squeezed out of our bags without making any noise. It was still, just inhaling our scent. I signaled using my fingers that at the count of 3 we would unzip the door and jump out with me leading. I unzipped the tent in 2 seconds and was outside first. My son was right behind me, and nothing was there at all. However, a Douglas fir branch that was... Hey! Reba! Quit it. However, a Douglas fir branch that was violently swaying about 8 feet off the ground back and forth as if something big had grabbed it or brushed against it on its way out. I reached into the tent quickly and grabbed the flashlight, shined it out past our campground, but I could see nothing moving. I listened, and I could hear nothing. The forest in that part of the Sierras is just not that thick. There were a couple dozen clusters of Douglas firs clumped together between huge, flat slabs of granite. The thick forest was maybe 200 feet away, and this didn't make sense. Then, I noticed long footprints on the side of the tent, but really elongated. We put more wood on the fire. Talked and watched for a while, and eventually went back to sleep. Nothing disturbed us the rest of the night. However, the next morning we got out of the tent and my son noticed something we hadn't noticed in the dark. About 20 feet... Reba! Quit it! We're safe, all right? She sits by the door and hears a weird noise and goes, "Ruff." About 20 feet from... Somebody's pulling in. She's that sensitive to cars coming in. Sorry, you guys. Not my place. About 20 feet from our tent was the flat granite rock where we sat and ate dinner the night before. The same granite slab I stood on to make the Tarzan yell. We had cleaned everything off of it the night before, but whatever it was left us a message made of small granite rocks put in what I'd call a 3-foot Q, with the bottom of the Q pointing directly at our tent. Furthermore, there were about 20 points of this Q, and each point was either a single rock or a stack of 2 rocks. Some points even had 2 rocks balancing against each other in the form of a small tent. You need hands in order to make this sign. No bear could make this. The small rocks were all about the same 2-inch circumference. I didn't have a camera to Reba, quit it! Stop it, you little grumpy shit. The small rocks were all about the same 2-inch circumference. I didn't have a camera to take a picture of the sign, so I drew it on a paper napkin. No animal on earth could produce that. Also, we were the only campers on the lake that night, no one else for miles. We could see the entire lake shore. I'm retired, so you can use my first name. By the way, the next 2 summers we returned to the same place since we decided that it was just curious or we would not still be alive. In those trips, we experienced the long, loud cries it makes. We set up trail cameras and got some weird, furry photos too close to make out anything but gray-reddish hair. And these cameras were pulled off the tree at a height of 8 feet off the ground. One morning, just before twilight, my son told me that while I was asleep, he saw a 7 to 8 foot tall man standing next to the tree with one of the game cameras. He was very dark, and it was still dark out, and he could not make out any features. Whoa! There you go. You definitely put us there in that tent with you. The confidence they have in the darkness coming up to us is unbelievable, right? And does not make any sense with the reaction they have when we look at them. Or they cross the road in front of your car. It doesn't make sense. So much doesn't make sense. I mean, especially today. Not too much makes sense today. Holy shit. Oh, I can't wait to get caught up in my sleep. I think I woke up every 2 hours last night. I don't have a clue why, but... And it was already said goodbye to all my friends. Kind of sucks. It always sucks when we leave. These are very, very good friends of mine here. But anyway, I appreciate that email, man. That's real creepy. I wonder if you're still going there today. And if you do, if you are, I wonder if you've recorded any of those sounds. Not that it makes any difference to me, but a lot of people here would be curious to hear it for sure. But anyway, you guys, I got to get moving. I'm trying to be chipper and perky, but it's real hard. Trust me, it's really hard. A lot to chew on and think about right now for my travel day. I think I get back into Canada Stand, Vancouver at 8:45 or something. Then I'll just grab a room there, stay there, and then hit the boat and go home tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow in the man cave. And I'm going to get more people on here live. And we're going to hear more truth. While we can still share it. Holy shit. Wouldn't that suck? If or when they come to my door and knock on the door and arrest me for speaking my voice online, which I do all the time. But that's what they're doing in Britain. They're arresting people for Facebook posts. They're arresting people in Australia for Facebook posts. For speaking out against the regime. If there's going to be a candidate who's going to end up behind Canadian bars for standing up for freedom, you know who it's going to be. It's going to be me. My gut's screaming it at me. So, there's going to be some conversations to be had at home and see how things go. So shitty. Good God, it's so I mean, it's been so shitty for a while, but now it's just like, holy shit. You know, when you think you've hit rock bottom, and then you realize, oh no, we got a long ways to go yet. Ooh. It doesn't help after being in Alabama and Texas for a couple weeks, observing how life is supposed to be, right? Doesn't help. But anyway, appreciate all of you big time. I appreciate all the people here so much, it's silly, but... Share my story at howtohunt.com. Get me your truth, all right? Don't be scared. Man, don't be scared. Get me your truth, and I'll share it. And I'll share the shit out of it word for word, no matter what. Here I go. Traveling. Back to capital K, Canada Stan. And I should be back tomorrow.